We have made it to Friday, ladies and gentlemen, TGIF edition of the show, number one forum for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Welcome in, welcome on in. Appreciate you guys checking us out here on this evening. We're bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. And speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, hit that subscribe button, smash that subscribe button, get all of your friends to subscribe if they haven't done so already, so that way you can have all that you crave when you discuss Alabama football. Run those likes up, give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, turn all of those notifications on, hit that bell, so that way you can have every form of entertainment on your Crimson Tide. We also got you covered here on Facebook and Twitter as well. Gonna be a good show, an interesting show, but a good show. Got a lot of things to talk about, discuss, get into. Of course, the New York Football Giants have hired Brian Daboll to be its next head coach. Daboll was the offensive coordinator for the Crimson Tide in 2017, helping Tua Tagovailoa come off the bench and win that national championship as a freshman. Daboll has done great things with the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen as offensive coordinator, but now he will be a head coach for the Giants. Does this mean his move for offensive coordinator will be Bill O'Brien? We'll have to see. We will have to see. With Daboll getting the job, head coach, New York Giants, big thing for him. We will see if he chooses Bill O'Brien as his offensive coordinator. But I want to hear from you tonight, Tide fans. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358. Number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. The daily Super Chat goal, $75. Daily Super Chat goal. Appreciate the support coming from all of you. Got my man John Ivory in the production studio. Appreciate him. And we're going to get into right now topic number one of the conversation for an interesting show. And this one right here goes to Bryce Young. And Bryce, who had a very good sophomore season and a very good season as a first-year starting quarterback. Despite some inconsistencies offensively, this is still a Bryce Young who won the Heisman Trophy. Still a Bryce Young who first-team All-SEC, SEC Offensive Player of the Year, consensus All-American, Davey O'Brien National Quarterback of the Year award. Just every major accolade Bryce Young either got it or he was right there for it, and somebody who is the single-season school record holder for passing yards, touchdown passes, total yards, and scores responsible for. So a lot of good from Bryce Young. A lot of big things from Bryce Young. A lot of positivity from him. But even with all the positivity, there's still some things for Young to work on, for Young to improve, for Young to get better at. And I'm pretty sure he would tell you the exact same things, especially when he still has some things he wants to accomplish, that being winning a national championship as a starting quarterback, maybe go back-to-back Heisman trophies, and along with trying to position himself to be the number one overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. So there's still some aspirations there that the California native holds or has going into his third season, his second year as the starting quarterback. But there are some things, there are some areas in his game that he needs to fine-tune just a bit more starting this spring. And we're going to get into all three of those right now. Number one to me for Bryce Young, got to trust himself as a runner, got to trust his feet. I don't know what is or what has clamped onto him to where he doesn't like to trust himself to run, or he doesn't feel like he needs to run, but in being a dual threat quarterback, his ability to run would open up Alabama's offense even more. His ability to run and him using that ability to run would make the run game with the backs far more potent. It would make the wide receivers far more dangerous. It would make the play calling open up a whole lot more. It would just give opposing defenses fits, because Bryce Young pulling the ball down, using his legs, trusting his athleticism, that would just be another thing that Alabama does exceptionally well for a defense to look at, for a defensive coordinator to try to scheme for or plan for, and it could just be another weapon Alabama can use offensively to offset and break defenses down. And just for me, going back to the national championship game against Georgia, Stetson Bennett is not a better quarterback than Bryce Young. Stetson Bennett is not a better talent than Bryce Young. But the one thing that Bennett has on Young, or over Young as of right now, is Bennett is not afraid to pull the ball down and run. There's just something about Stetson Bennett he will create with his feet. When all else fails, when all else messes up, he is not afraid to take off, get those yardage, force linebackers, force defensive backs to watch him, to account for him, to make sure he's not taking off on its defense, burning it as such. And that's what makes Zamir White even better. That's what makes James Cook and Kenny McIntosh and Georgia's group of receivers, even the play calling of Todd Monken, opens up that much more because Stetson Bennett's ability to use his legs, not be afraid to go to that dual threat ability and offset defenses. And for Bryce Young, coming in from high school in the 2020 class, what was he graded as? A dual threat quarterback, which means you throw the football and you run the football exceptionally well. And I know Bryce prides himself on being a precision passer, a polished passer, and I get it. And I wholeheartedly respect that. But having that dual threat tag by his name, him being able to trust himself to pull the ball down, run the ball, open up even more of his Alabama offense, that's going to help him even more in terms of that next level. It's going to help him even more in terms of trying to get Alabama back to that national championship stage, finishing the job and winning the national championship. But that's number one. Number two for me, in terms of Bryce, would be fine-tuning the deep ball accuracy, or fine-tuning the anticipation of the deep ball accuracy. Bryce hit on some deep balls this past year. He did. He hooked up with Jamison Williams for quite a few of them, for quite a number of them. He hooked up with John Mechie for some. Bryce Young hit on some deep balls, even some to, or a couple to, Ja'Cory Brooks. So Bryce hit on some, but there were also some that he missed on, and knowing Bryce, he would have loved to have had those passes, those opportunities, those chances back, because he knows I leave the receiver a bit better, I put the ball more so on the money, I drop it on a dime, that guy is going to make the play. So fine-tuning of that deep ball accuracy, or the anticipation of that, is going to be huge there for Young. And a quarterback I go back to would be Blake Sims. And Blake Sims, people crack jokes on Blake Sims. People poke fun at him from time to time. But one thing that Blake mastered as a quarterback in the Nick Saban era, Sims had one of the prettiest, accurate, deadly-looking deep balls in college football. And you knew when it was coming, and Blake put it right there. He timed it. He prepared for it. He anticipated it. He put the ball, bang, dead on the money, whether it was to Amari Cooper, whether it was to DeAndrew White, whether it was to Kenyon Drake. When Blake Sims dialed up a deep ball pattern, he put it dead on the wide receiver, let that guy in stride for big plays, more so than not touchdowns. So when I look at a Bryce Young, just fine-tuning that deep ball accuracy, whether he's going to Trayshawn Holden, or Jermaine Burton, or Christian Leary, or JoJo Earl, or a J.I. Hall. Doesn't really matter who he's throwing the ball to or who he is targeting on a particular play. Having that deep ball anticipation, that deep ball accuracy, hitting, fine-tuning that talent and that aspect, going to be huge there for him. And then number three for me, when it comes down to Young, is being able to throw the ball away when there's nothing there, and protecting himself. And to me, this is the most critical one, because Bryce and Tua Tagovailoa, they share this trait right here. They will hold the ball for a long time, waiting for a guy to get open, waiting for a guy to come out of the break, waiting for a guy to finish off his route. They'll sit there, they'll hold the ball, they'll wait, and then they get just wrecked, right? Defensive lineman, boom, takes him out. Outside linebacker, boom. Blitz coming, boom. Like, you got to be able, if you don't see the guy open, get rid of the ball, chunk it out of bounds, protect yourself, protect your body, your arm, your investment, play the next play, play the next down. We saw this with Tua. He would hold the ball, get hit, and that led to multiple injuries where Tagovailoa is concerned. And, for Bryce, he's got all of the tools in the world. He's got all of the talent in the world. But you got to be able to protect yourself when you don't see the receiver open initially. Get the ball out of bounds. Play the next play, because it's going to be very important for Bryce to not hold on to that football. I go back to the 39 sacks he took in 2021. A good portion of that was on the offensive line, absolutely, and that has to be better, and Doug Marrone has to be better 100%, but some of that was also geared toward, Bryce holding on the ball too long. You got to let go of the football and play the next play. So those just be my things there for Bryce. Had a lot of good last season. Did a lot of great things last season. Set a lot of records. Won a lot of awards. Heisman Trophy winner. Did big-time stuff. And I remember talking with one coach, Keith Miller, showcase ball out of California just the other day, and Coach Miller was like, Bryce gave people a little taste of what he could do as a first-year starter, but this upcoming season, he's going to be an absolute freak show out there on the field doing his thing as a quarterback, and I agree with that, but there are also some elements in Bryce's game that he knows got to get these things fine-tuned, and that would be not being afraid to run the football. Trust yourself, trust your feet, trust your legs, trust the dual threat ability that you have. Number two, fine-tuning the deep ball accuracy, the deep ball anticipation, hitting on more of those long explosive plays. And then number three, when the option's not there, don't hold the ball long. Throw the ball out of bounds, get rid of it, play the next play, protect yourself, your body, your investment. Because one thing about Bryce, he's trying to, number one, get this team back to the national championship stage and win the national championship. And then number two, put himself in position to more than likely, possibly be the number one overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. But folks, we're going to go to our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting you started here on a Friday. When we get back, we go to the phone lines. We take your calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your interactions. We want to get to you, the Tide Nation, right after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, people, we're back into the action from the break on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show. Number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We got a couple of super chats to get to. So how about my man Bill? Big Bill from New York with that $5 donation, dropping that. Excuse me, in the bucket right there, helping us out here on the show. Appreciate Bill from New York. And then we got here Jamie Willem right there with that $4.99 in the super chat, showing up to us here on TDA. We're going to go to the phone lines right now. We take your calls. The call segment is brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in right there, 205-448-1358. We grab a call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? Elijah here from Jersey.
What's going on, Elijah? What's happening?
Oh, man, just sitting up here listening to you, and I'm glad you brought that topic up, about Bryce Young. One of the things about Bryce is the fact that people forget that this dude is a young dude. This is first year starting, and he is a big-time overachiever by all means. But it is certain things in his game that he does have to clean up, and that's just natural. It's his first year starting. It's not like he's going to be like a 4-year starter, even though he has a God gift worth of talent. But you hit one of the points on the head that I've always said all year, and he does remind me of Tua in this aspect where he holds on to the ball too long sometimes. And don't get me wrong, I know some of the routes are long and they take a while to develop, but sometimes they get in that habit of they got to make every throw. They got to make every play instead of saying, okay, it's not here, let me live for the next play. And it's nothing wrong with that. Like you said, plus it saves his body. I hated when Tua used to hold on to that ball. And that's one of the reasons why Tua took that big-time hip injury when he got hurt, holding on to the ball too long, not throwing it away, living for the next play. And, one other thing is, I think what will help Bryce Young out is a new offensive coordinator. Give him somebody else that's more offensive-minded. It seemed like this year Bryce was a little bit more timid to use his legs. He wanted to sit in that pocket and throw, but when he does use his legs, he puts more pressure on linebackers. He makes defensive coordinators are more hesitant to throw that blitz at him because they're like, hey, this dude could take off, and if he get past that blitz, it could be lights out for us. He's not a slow guy. He got that nice quick twitch to him, and he can make himself more of a weapon than just sitting back there throwing. But like I said, I truly do believe a better play caller, as far as a better offensive coordinator, can help Bryce out tremendously. Could give him more quicker throws. If you notice this year, Steve, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, a lot of Alabama's routes take so long to develop, and they didn't have the offensive line play, or I should say the consistent offensive line play to have these long routes develop. It was a great thing that we had a guy like Jamison Williams out there that can get from point A to point B in a very, very quick time, so the quarterback didn't have to sit back there that long. But we didn't have the offensive line consistency for these plays to develop. And I think if we get a better offensive-minded coach or better offensive coordinator, Bryce will have more outlets where he could get these balls out of his hand. He's not sitting back there taking the hits or having to scramble for his life because the offensive line has broken down. Now, we all know, it's very hard to block SEC defensive linemen for 4 and 5 seconds. You're playing against the top-tier defensive lines in the country. So I think better offensive schemes, more screenplays, because you could probably count on one hand how many screenplays Alabama ran this year. just quick hitting plays, get the tight ends more involved, to get the ball out this guy's hands, so he's not sitting back there like a sitting duck. Now I see another topic you have on is running backs. Let's have a little chat here, Steve. Like, really, how do you feel about Chase McClellan? Because to me, I just feel like he's a average back. I like the way he catches the ball out the backfield. I like the way he run, but if it's like 3rd down and 3, I'm going with Roy Dell because he seems like he's a more downhill back than somebody like Jace. I think Jace is versatile, but I don't think it's going to be very competitive when you look at the kid they came in from Georgia Tech and Jason McClellan. And plus, everybody got to see how Chase comes back this year. I mean, even Roy Dell with these knee injuries. Let me know what you think about that.
Going to be interesting, Elijah, to see how these backs do return from these injuries, especially Chase, Jace, and Roy Dell. But I like both guys, and that's why this spring it's going to be fun to watch. And I will definitely get into more of that topic in this second segment here. Appreciate Elijah there for that call. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling tonight? State your name and where you calling from.
Hi, Stephen. Bill from New York. Really great stuff you're talking about.
Absolutely, Bill. Appreciate you, man.
Well, here's what I think, though. I think that I'm going to give Bryce a little more credit that's being given here. I think that a lot of the reason that he didn't run was because he was told by Saban not to. And here's why I think that. I mean, look, I was all for Paul Tyson coming in, related to the Bears, so on and so forth. But he didn't show me much, you know what I mean? I just wasn't that impressed. And I'm very high on Milroe, but he's a rookie. He was a kid, and I don't know how much he was going to carry us. Remember, we were close in a lot of these games. And I don't mean to be a broken record, but I mean, for Bryce to come in and take this team, this particular team, to a championship game, we just didn't have the talent that we had in 2020. Look, Mac Jones might have been the quarterback I enjoyed the most in all these years, watching Alabama. But I got to tell you, he was thrown to Devontae Smith. He had Jalen Waddle. He even had Forrestal at tight end. He had B-Rob. We had him this year. And he had Najee Harris, Stephen. And I don't think Saban wanted to lose him. Now, for this season, I think that our talent is going to improve. Like I say, I worry a little bit about the lines. But like you said, with Latham and Brockmeyer, that could solve that one problem real easy, if it all works. But I think there's going to be more talent than he had. He's going to be a year older. And I got to tell you, now Milroe's got a year more experience. And I'm big on Ty Simpson. That guy, I watch his tape. I don't see him like Justin does, but I'm watching his YouTube clips. He runs all over the place. He looks like Doug Flutie, for God's sake. That man is throwing some passes. He's doing it on the run. And I think we're going to win with that kid down the road. And I'm wondering do you think I'm making sense here, Stephen?
The Doug Flutie comparison there, Bill, I kind of like that one because he does scramble around a lot back there. I know his high school coach was kind of nervous about that, but Ty likes making those types of plays. And
he's not running as much as he's scrambling, right?
It's more so him scrambling.
Right. Yeah, I like the kid. I'm expecting big things from them and the Tide. And, of course, you personally and your staff. You got a great show, Stephen.
Appreciate my man Bill from New York calling in, giving us some love here on the show. Get thoughts there from him when you look at Ty Simpson, Jalen Milroe, running backs, quarterbacks. It's going to be a really good spring here for Alabama football. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Yeah, this is Tim Allen from Rome, Georgia.
All right, Tim, what's happening?
Nothing happening but that national championship. Go Dogs. There's nothing better in the land than a dumb obnoxious Georgia fan. Go Dogs!
We got Tim Allen calling in here from Georgia. Still happy about that national championship, the first one for Georgia in 40-plus years since 1980. But Kirby Smart got it done there. We go to this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name. Where you calling from?
Hey, Steven, this is Coach Snoop, and there is nothing better than a non-Georgia winning fan that may never seen a national championship in their life. It's hilarious, man. And Steven, these Georgia fans get on my nerves, brother. I'm telling you, man. Okay, yeah, it's been what? It's almost been a month, right? Has it been a month yet? Golly, I feel like the month is going by slow, Steven. And it's because I live in the state of Georgia. That's probably why. I feel like this has been the longest January I've ever experienced in all 32 years of living on this earth. It's the longest January I've ever experienced. I've never had to experience a national championship, a Georgia national championship January. Like, never in my life. So, yes, it's new to me, but golly, Georgia fans. Anyway, how you doing today, Steven?
Senator, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I can't complain here, and I share your pain, brother. I do share your pain. It does feel like this month is going by incredibly slow.
I mean, Steven, but I just wanted to tackle some things that was said. Elijah, he made some decent points, man, about Bryce Young, and I really disagree with everybody's take on Bill O'Brien and how he handled the offense this year. You got to think he came into a system trying to implement what was already established, and before you get, I always give I give coordinators the first 4 weeks, to kind of gauge what their season's going to look like. Now, Bill O'Brien, by far, not nowhere near the best coordinator we have. But if you look at play call and how he called the game for what he had to work with, especially on the offensive line, Bill O'Brien exceeded expectations, or he did more than what he should have been able to do with as many holes and as many injuries as he had. This is his first year in the system. This is Bryce's first year as a starter. I think he did pretty good, and I've seen the adjustments as things kept carrying on. But one thing I will say, he does need to add the screen game to help the quarterback. If you got a quarterback, every time he's dropping back, his eyes have to come down for a second. That's what makes it look as if the wide receivers aren't gaining separation. And, it's hard to do when you're trying to put your offensive line together. You're trying to find the best group, the most cohesive group. So we got to give Bill his credit. Even in the national championship game, people try to blame it on this and that, but Bryce and Bill have a relationship. They trust each other, and Bill actually put the ball in his best player's hand. When Jameson Williams went down, he kept the ball in Bryce Young's hand. Yes, B-Rob was having some good runs, but a game like that, when something catastrophic to your game plan happens like that, plan B is usually get the ball in my best player's hand, the next best player's hand. And at that time, that was Bryce Young, and he was making the right decisions. We just couldn't capitalize. So we got to lay off of Bill O'Brien. If he comes back, hopefully we see immediate change. If we see the implementation of the screen game, and definitely start to rely on the strong side of the offensive line, whichever side that gets established. Usually it's our left side. Hopefully we have a strong left side. And the comment about Jace McClellan, he not sold on Jace. My guy Elijah, you need to go watch some more film, bro. Jace McClellan got the hands. He has the explosion. Roydell Williams is a hard running back. He's not as elusive as Jace. He doesn't have that breakaway speed like Jace. Roydell is fast, but he doesn't break away like Jace. And I just believe Jace can hurt you, in the backfield and in the slot at receiver. You can't game plan for Jace because you don't know what's happening. I believe that's why Christian Leary was the replacement running back. Once as many running backs went down, because he gave you that Jace feel. If you got him out to the edge with the ball on the handoff or in the screen or on a wheel route, you knew you had the hands and the speed out there. So, Jay's going to be that dude, man. Jace and Jameer, I feel like that's going to be our 1-2. Trey probably going to have a solid 3 role that he's going to be content with, that's going to, have more flash this year. But this team is more equipped now this year than ever. And last thing I want to talk about is your point you made about Bryce Young. Steven, my favorite one was his anticipation. go back and look at a lot of the weeks, early weeks, week 3 through like week 7. Week 3 through week 7, especially leading up to the A&M game, Bryce Young has a trust issue with anticipating coverage. He makes great reads, but he doesn't anticipate them. So a lot of times it looks as if the receiver isn't open, but if you go back and look, a lot of times when Bryce loses the pocket, it's not necessarily he needs to. It's just to open up. He's trying to open up the receiver's route. But if he was to sit in the pocket and hold for that half second or release at that split second when he knows the receiver's supposed to be breaking, everybody got to be on the same page, anticipating the route, anticipating the read. I believe we'll see growth there. That's what made Tua and Mac Jones so great, especially Mac Jones. Mac Jones didn't have the strongest arm. But Mac Jones can anticipate coverage based off of, what the safety and what the defensive end is doing. Based off the play call, he was reading safety, middle linebacker, safety end, linebacker end, and I think that will come with growth in the system, with Bill O'Brien having another year and everything, continuing to gel together. And like I said, Steven, I think it's time for the young guys to go ahead and get let loose and make their mistakes early, like Georgia receivers was able to do. And by the, second half of the season, we locked in running through the rest of the schedule, Steven. But that's all I have to say. Appreciate you taking my call. And, Steven, keep them Georgia Bulldogs off the radio, man. We ain't trying to hear that. Roll Tide, man. Y'all be easy.
Appreciate Senator Hines for calling in. Always the voice of reason here on the show. Coach Smook there. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steven, this is Mike. How you doing, buddy?
Mike, what's going on, big man?
Well, I don't understand the love affair with Bill O'Brien. The best offensive coordinator we ever had was Steve Sarkisian. He could set up a defense and exploit them. To me, Bill just calls plays. It's just like you got the defensive line kicking our brains in, poor quarterback getting sacked time and time again. How many times did you see him throw the ball over to a running back? And that's how you slow down the blitz. Quick screens to the running back. Not impressed. But I tell you what I am impressed with, our new defensive back coach. Man,
he's good.
I am excited.
He's good.
Woo! I can't wait.
He's good.
Well,
and I know a lot of people might think Nick Saban got just another recruiter with Robinson in here, but Travaris Robinson, he's more than just a recruiter. He is a teacher specialist. Appreciate Mike from Kentucky calling in right there. That guy's a teacher specialist, Travaris Robinson. I really like this addition right here from Coach Saban. He's going to be really good for these DBs. Guys, shout out my man Jimmy Cash Money Clay Bucket Time with that $75 donation. Appreciate the love that coming from Jimmy Clay. The daily super chat goal of $75 has been met. Appreciate you, the Alabama fans, for you calling in so far, you writing in, you letting your thoughts be made known here on the show. We're going to transition here to a quick topic, and this one goes to John Mechie, former Alabama wide receiver John Mechie. He is currently in Pensacola, Florida, doing his rehab following knee surgery, and he decided to surprise a group of 800-plus students at an elementary school, Oriole Beach Elementary School in Pensacola, Florida. He goes in, he surprises the youth, he surprises teachers, he's reading stories to children, he is taking photos, he is doing the Crimson Crane kick celebration. He's just providing smiles to the next generation. And that's just awesome seeing that from Mechie as he looks to hear his name called early in the NFL draft. Some pundits have a late first round grade on Mechie. Others have an early second round grade on him, but he will be a day one or an early day two pick. And Mechie this past season, 96 receptions to lead the team, 1,142 yards and 8 touchdowns. Just hated seeing him get hurt in the SEC championship game against Georgia, but a phenomenal young man. Good player. He's going to be a good pro at the next level, but just really cool seeing him give back to a group of students, classrooms, teachers, doing Crimson Crane kick celebration at Oriole Beach High School in Pensacola, Florida. But We'll take a break here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial, because when we get back, I get into my thoughts of the running back room conversation and do my projections of who will be the 1-2 punch, who will be the change of pace back. We'll talk running backs for Alabama after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back at it here from the break on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show. Number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. Yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama magazine. In my own words, be sure to give us that thumbs up, run those likes up, give us a thumbs up on the show, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on, make it this your show, your network, your platform, your channel, and space to talk your Crimson Tide. But now, we get into these running backs. I feel like everybody, or many people, want to talk about the running back room here for the Crimson Tide. There's a lot of excitement about, who's going to be the starting running back, who's going to be the number 2 guy, who's to change a pace back. I mean, Bama's got a stacked roster loaded here at that running back position, and even with Brian Robinson moving on to the NFL, definitely wish him well after his, 1,300-yard season this past year and 14 rushing touchdowns. He did improve his stock as a pass catcher out of the backfield in terms of the NFL draft, so definitely want to see Brian Robinson excel in the pros. But right now, you got some guys here I'm looking forward to watch this spring. And much like John, I did for the defensive backs in projecting the starting Alabama secondary, in my opinion, going to project here the starting running backs, in my opinion. So I think my 1-2 would be Trey Sanders and Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Sanders and Gibbs would be the 1-2. And going to Sanders here, this would be the healthiest Trey Sanders has been since he's been at Alabama. Think about that. 2019, he comes in as a freshman, talking about Heisman Trophy and wanting to win the Heisman, and he was having a really good fall camp. People thought he was going to really take some carries from Najee Harris and Brian Robinson. Unfortunately, hurts his foot, has to, redshirt that year. And then 2020, he comes up against Mississippi State, 12 carries for 80 yards, finally starting to get some things together. People were really excited for Sanders, and then he goes home to Florida, and he gets involved in this very unfortunate car accident. Thankfully, ended up being okay, got T-boned there in the hip, had to have surgery there, another setback. It was really rough, it was really difficult. But then last season, he got a chance to get on the field a bit more, and he got a chance to regain all of that confidence back, and he heads into now his 4th year in the system. He's going to be as healthy as he's ever been, and when you look at Trey, when he touches the ball, natural running back. When he switches the ball in both hands, he's natural with that. He's got good power. He's got good speed. He can catch the ball in the backfield. We saw this last season, 6 catches for 55 yards. I think he has been through enough, worked through enough, battled through enough, pushed through enough to earn that opportunity to be kind of that number one guy there for the Crimson Tide, and especially with Alabama trying to work and get, Jace McClellan at that, 100%. Of course, coming back from a knee injury, gonna have to see how quick, how fast does Jace maintain that burst and that explosiveness, which I believe he will, and I believe he does. But with Trey being 3 years removed from a foot injury, right? 2 years removed from the car situation, I think he would be the number one guy, in my opinion. Now, right with him, this is where I would have Jahmyr Gibbs, the transfer from Georgia Tech. Coach Saban does not pull out an 1,800-yard all-purpose back with 7 touchdowns from the portal for nothing. I mean, he would not pull out this type of talent to sit him. He's pulling out this type of talent to play him. He's pulling out this type of talent to complement the other backs in the room. And when I look at Gibbs, not only do I see a guy that's got power in between the tackles and contact balance and strength, but he's also got speed. He gets out in that open space. He's hitting those accelerators. He can get away from guys. He can move away from guys. And then you look at the hands at the backfield. He can catch out of the backfield. But as a return guy, 589 kick return yards and 1 touchdown this past season for Jahmyr Gibbs in the ACC. And I know some people talk about, well, Stephen, he played in a different conference. Will he be able to transition here to the big boys in the SEC? Well, Jamison Williams, as a wide receiver, he came from a different conference, Big Ten, Ohio State, comes over to Alabama, comes over to the SEC, and was the most explosive wide receiver in the conference. 79 catches for J-Mo, over 1,500 yards, had 15 touchdowns just a season ago. So Ron, look at Gibbs here, got the power, got the speed, the explosive playmaking ability, can catch the ball in the backfield, and can give you something also on special teams. So that would be my 1-2, Trey Sanders, Jace, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Where Jace McClellan is concerned, this is my change of pace right here. This is my change of pace guy, because Jace would go in that Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs-like role where he can do a little bit of everything. And especially, you go back to last season, when Jace was at his best, catching the ball out the backfield from Bryce Young. He had like 10 catches for 97 yards and 3 touchdowns before getting hurt against Ole Miss. And prior to the injury, Alabama would bring McClellan into the game. He would leak out of the backfield. Bryce Young would be looking, see 21, dump it off to him. Jace would put a move on a couple of guys. He's in the end zone doing his happy dance, touchdown, the whole shebang right there. And when Jace got hurt, it took an element away from Bama's passing game. When McClellan went down, it took a weapon away from Young. And when you go back and you watch Kenyon Drake, Alabama would line him up in the slot. They would line him up outside. They would have him coming out of the backfield. They would flank him out. They would have many different ways of getting Drake the ball because of how elusive he was. It's the same thing with Josh Jacobs. Bama found many ways to get Jacobs the ball because of how elusive he was, and that type of skill set helped both guys get to the NFL. When I look at Jace McClellan, I see the same thing. Yes, he can run the ball in between the tackles. He's got a little power. He's got shiftiness, got speed as a back, but as a receiver, this is where Jace is exceptionally dangerous. And this is why I would have him more so in that change of pace, Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake type of role, because he can do that responsibility and perform that at an extremely high level. Now, to me, when it comes down to Roydell would be change of pace back too, in a sense of he's more of the tough, hard nose runner. Now, he's got some shiftiness also, but with Roydell, I feel like if it was a 3rd and 2 or a 3rd and 3, he could come in the game and get you those tough 2 to 3 yards. He's also really good in pass protection. People don't give Roydell the credit he deserves in that aspect. He can chip. He can come in, bang, pick up an outside linebacker, pick up a defensive end. He can chip block and take on a blitz. and give Bryce Young that extra 2 to 3 seconds to deliver the football. So Roydell can do that. He can also catch the ball out the backfield, too. We saw this a season ago against Texas A&M. I think that was the first touchdown of the game where Bryce goes to the options at Kyle Field, throws the ball to Roydell in the flat. He takes off and scores a touchdown. So Roydell can do quite the amount of things. But to me, I would just have it as, because of everything Trey has been through, and when he's been out there on the field, he's gotten better and better and growing with confidence. So I have Trey and Gibbs, Sanders and Gibbs as the 1-2, Jace as kind of that change of pace, that Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs role, and then Roydell would be change of pace back too. He can give you those tough 3-4 yards and those tough third downs, pick up a blitz there and pass pro, and then you can throw him the ball out the backfield as well. But it's just going to be fun to see how these 4 backs shake out, right? And what would their roles be? Because in years past, we've always seen under Coach Saban since 2008 with Glenn Coffey, Mark Ingram, Saban has had a 1-2. And then, as of late, recently, he's added a third guy, whether that guy can catch the ball out of the backfield or whether he can just do some different things that really offset the scheme and schematics here of defensive coordinators. But it'll be fun to watch these backs here on the field. We take a break right here, folks. But don't touch that dial. When we come back, we return to your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your conversations. Who would you guys have as the 1-2 punch? Who would you guys have as the change of pace back for the Crimson Tide at that running back position, starting off with spring ball? We get to your thoughts after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We're back into the action here, folks, from the break. Number one form ticket here for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Once again, kudos to Brian Dable, former Alabama offensive coordinator who has accepted the head coaching job for the New York Football Giants. And looks like the Miami Dolphins not too happy about that, or the Dolphin supporters not too happy about that, because they want to see Dable come and coach to Tagovailoa. But we will see what transpires from here. But before we go to the phone lines to take your calls, call segment brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang. Got to shout out Jimmy the Man Clay again with a $25 donation, dropping it in the bucket right there. Appreciate the love coming from Jimmy Clay. But 205-448-1358, number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang, 205-448-1358. We grab a call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Stephen M. Smith. It's Trent from Prattville, Alabama. What's going on?
Trent, doing fantastic, man, and yourself?
Doing great. Man, I'm a huge Alabama fan, and it was heartbreaking just losing to Georgia. It really is. I'm still upset about that loss. How about yourself?
I mean, that loss is still stinging for a lot of people. It's still stinging Coach Saban, still stinging Bryce Young, and it's providing some fuel here to one Will Anderson. But this is why, my man, this spring for Alabama, how does this team look? This spring practice and this A-Day game going to be a lot of fun for fans to look at.
Amen to that. I'll be at A-Day. And what I'm looking forward to is at the receiver position. We've got so many receivers. In your opinion, what's going to be the starting receivers? You think it'll be JoJo Earl in the slot, Christian Leary in the slot, Jermaine Burton at the X, or will it be Trayshawn Holden at the Y position, or Brooks, Hall? What's your starting projection for the wide receivers, Steven?
I mean, it is so tough because of the amount of talent in that room. I mean, I think Slot's going to come down to Earl and Leary. One of those two is going to get that. It could be a freshman. Kobe Prentice could walk in here and get that. So who knows? But right now, because of experience, I look at Leary or Earl for Slot. At that Z spot at the bottom, I look at Ja'Cory Brooks. At the top, it could be Holden or it could be Burton, but it also could be a J.I. Hall. I mean, you got to watch Hall there too. So it's going to be a challenge, Trent. It's going to be a big challenge.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. Appreciate my man Trent there for that call right there. The wide receiver spot's going to be a fun spot to document starting this spring. I know spring ball will begin that second or third week of March. But we take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
My name is Kunj. I'm from Illinois. Big Alabama fan. I'm mad we lost to Georgia, but I think it's because we got injured and they didn't. I don't think Kirby Smart particularly coached well. I don't think he deserved to win that game. I think it was just one team got injured and one team didn't. I got a question. So I know you mentioned Kobe Prentice and with the wide receivers, but what do you think about Chaz Preston this year?
Chaz Preston's good too. I think he was probably or arguably the most physical guy of an Alabama side in the class. He can play at the top, he can play at the bottom. Just gonna be how quickly does he grasp the playbook, how quickly does he learn things, and how fast can he get on the field should he get on there.
And I also have one more question. You think Cam Latu is gonna be utilized more this year?
I think he is. I mean, and I go back to if he holds on to about 3 to 4 more touchdown passes, he would end the season with 12 or 13 touchdowns and possibly pursues the draft. So I think get his hands a bit tighter, get his speed a bit better. He's going to be fine.
Thank you.
Absolutely, no problem. Appreciate that call right there coming into the show. I like Cam Latu. I thought Cam did pretty good. Well, once again, if he can hold on to a bit more passes, especially in the red zone this upcoming season, he's going to be just fine. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, this is Mike from Kentucky, man. What's going on, brother?
Mike, what's going on, man? What's happening?
Boy, winter done hit up here in Kentucky, man. It's been snow on the ground for over 2 days and snow falling right now. It's all right, though. I got a big piece of brown cherry in the wood stove watching it burn slow. Caught your show on YouTube, so I thought I'd call in, man.
Hey, appreciate you calling in here, Mike. I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, if you want my opinion on the running back next year, I think that boy from Georgia Tech is going to be hard to keep out of the lineup. And hopefully Josh McClellan will make a good comeback. We'll be set at running back. I'm not too worried about it.
I'm not either. I mean, you got Gibbs, you got McClellan, you got Sanders, you got Roydell. I mean, you got 4 guys. So you got a 4-headed monster, provided this time everybody stay healthy. Please stay healthy. You got a good group.
I mean, people, tend to forget we were a bunch of babies this year. We got 9 starters coming back on defense. 7 coming back on offense? Maybe, we're losing 2 linemen. That's about it. And a running back.
2 linemen, a running back, and two linemen, a running back, and 3 receivers. But you got talent at receiver. You got this 2021 class of linemen. These guys are going to have to come with it. You got you got the running backs back. This should be a team poised for a national championship.
Yeah, I think we've recruited well enough to rebuild the O-line for sure. You know, I mean, that loss stung to Georgia, but, you know, life's like a game of cards, man. You got to play the hand you dealt. And our deck had a few high cards missing, but we still had a chance to win that game. We dropped 3 balls inside the 10-yard line, you know, or that game could have been way different. You know, I'm still proud of our boys. Roll dadgum Tide, man. I'm going to let somebody else get on, brother.
Absolutely appreciate Mike from Kentucky. And I agree. I mean, Alabama was right there. I mean, you make 3 to 5 catches. The game could have been completely different. The injuries caught up late. Now, yes, you do give Georgia credit. You do give Kirby Smart credit. They played a phenomenal game. They played a strong game. But the injuries were right there. That's true. You made 3 to 5 catches in that game. It becomes a completely different ball game. Absolutely. I agree with that. And that's why I go back to this spring is going to be a different spring, and I'm hyped up about it because I want to see how this all falls into place here. We grab a call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steven? It's your man, Lo, calling from Atlanta, man. How you doing, man?
Lo, man, I'm doing pretty good, man, but better question, how you feeling?
Hey, man, I'm actually feeling pretty good, man. I didn't even take the Georgia loss too bad, man. You know, like the last caller said, you know, you kind of got to play the hand that you dealt. I do think if we had all our guys, you know, we'd have been just fine. You know, had a lot of underclassmen out there. They just quite wasn't ready for the moment, but that's fine. They got time to grow. I'm going to give everybody a pass. New slate. To me, we were ahead of schedule. That's fine with me. Now, I went and checked out this kid, Jahmyr Gibbs. I just went and checked out his highlights and stuff just to see, you know, what type of back he was. I don't think we're going to be able to keep this kid off the field, man. I mean, he has that pop, and that's what I look for in guys. I just look to see if they have that pop to them. I really like this game, you know, shifty back, quick, fast. And I feel like it's been a second since we've had a back like that. You know, like you said, a Kenyon Drake type back. We definitely needed that. At the receivers, I gotta see a J.I. Hall out there. I just have to see it. Like, he needs to play. Brooks needs to play. Another guy I think needs to play more is Trayshawn Holden. Actually, he caught a pass this year where, you know, he took maybe a 5-yard pass and took it maybe 35 yards. And you actually spoke on the play the very next week. Like, I didn't expect that out of Trayshawn Holden. So I do think he needs to get a little more burn. Very excited for the season coming up, man. I'm going to keep supporting you, man. Keep doing your thing. I'm going to keep calling in. Hey, big ups to you, brother. Hold it down, man. Roll damn Tide.
Appreciate Lo from Atlanta calling in. Yeah, Trayshawn Holden had a pretty good year. I mean, he got in there against Mississippi State. That was his best game. 3 catches for 70 yards. Took a 5-yard slant pattern, made it a 29-yard burst to the house. You know, Holden's got some speed on him. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, my name is Logan. I'm calling in from Georgia.
What's happening, Lloyd? What's going on?
Nothing much. We all know we got some skilled players on the outside. One of my main concerns is the offensive line, but we've been recruiting really well there, so I don't know really what's happening with Chris Owens leaving. Hopefully either Brockermeyer or J.C. Latham can get in there. With Pritchett coming in, we also got T.J. Ferguson. Hopefully one of these good recruits can fill that void.
And that's what a lot of the fans are hoping for. Somebody or a group of guys from that 2021 massive haul of linemen step up. The J.C. Lathams, the Brockermeyers, the Terrence Fergusons, the Jayden Roberts. Somebody from this 2021 class of massive linemen steps up. Appreciate that call right there coming into the show. In offensive line, another position that U.S. fans have your eyes on. Can we get 5 guys on the field playing cohesively as one to protect Bryce Young? Can we have a year where Doug Marrone straightens some things up there when you look at the offensive line? But appreciate all of you guys calling in, writing in, texting in, letting your thoughts, your opinions be made known here on a free-for-all TGIF Friday edition of the show. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Got the man John Ivory in the production studio. We're going to go to a quick topic right here, and this one's on Kool-Aid McKinstry after a solid freshman year where he made the All-SEC freshman team. He's been working with one Justin Woodall, former Alabama safety, played from 2006 to 09, 2009 BCS national champion under Coach Saban. Woodall that year, 45 tackles, 5 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, and is a phenomenal trainer. He's been working with some of the better Alabama DBs. When you look at he's trained and continues to train Malachi Moore, Brian Branch. Now he's working with Kool-Aid McKinstry. Got a chance to talk to Woodall just the other day, trying to have him on the show next week to explain a lot more of this process. But in speaking to him, he talked about trying to get Kool-Aid fine-tuning the details, the little things, not necessarily the physicality, but having the right footwork, keeping his feet in the right place. He mentioned if you can make the receiver go around you while keeping your feet in the right place, just having good leverage, technique, being in phase, then that's what you need to do, and that's what you have to do. So that's the big thing, is getting the little things down, learning fast, learning quick, because according to Woodall, and he's absolutely right, everybody's an athlete. Everybody's an athlete. Everybody's trying to be a baller. It's who can learn the fastest, who can process the quickest, and then most importantly, who can master the details, who can master the nuances of the game. And if you're able to do that at a high level, then you're going to be fine. And Woodall's told me that all confidence in Kool-Aid. The talent's there, the ability is there. If the talent can match the details, Kool-Aid will be a very good corner for the Crimson Tide. Looking forward to getting Justin Woodall sometime next week on the show to elaborate more on the training going into one Kool-Aid McKinstry entering his sophomore season. But we're going to take a break right here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we tidy up loose ends by discussing one Will Anderson. Alabama's Dr. Matt Ray is seeing some freakish things from Anderson in the off-season workout program. What does this mean for the upcoming season for the junior linebacker? We talk Anderson after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to STSfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to STSfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
And folks, we are back into the action from the break. Number one forum for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate all of you writing in, texting in, donating in, calling in, making this your show, your network, your channel, your space to talk Alabama football. And before we get to the final topic of conversation, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That's TDAwear.com. So, if you're trying to get the best gear supporting your Crimson Tide and your brand, giving you all the Alabama football you can handle, if you're talking about getting your shirts, your hoodies, your joggers, your pants, all of your gear, all of your clothing, apparel needs to scream Roll Tide, supporting Coach Saban and Alabama football and the brand, giving you non-stop Crimson Tide football. You go to TDAwear.com right now, TDAwear.com. Check out the link right now in the description. Get your shopping done. Get your gear today. Show them that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at TDA. But we look at one Will Anderson, and what a season this young man had as a sophomore. He had a season as a jack, edge, rush, linebacker, defensive end that many people can only dream of having. I mean, you think about this for a minute. Will Anderson had a year that a lot of Alabama players can only dream of having when you talk about finished the season with 101 tackles. That was second on the team. Finished with, he was the first Jack linebacker of the Saban era to total 100-plus tackles. Get that marinated in there. He had 57 solo stops. That was first on the team. He had 34 and a half tackles for loss. That's first on the team and in the nation in all of college football. 17 and a half sacks. That was first on the team, first in the nation, and that's third all time for a single season in school history for 17 and a half sacks. Then Will Anderson, 9 quarterback hurries. That's first on the team. But you look at him winning the Bronco Nagurski Award, him being first team All-SEC, him being SEC Defensive Player of the Year, him being a unanimous All-American, him being a permanent team captain by his peers. Just a phenomenal season of accomplishments for Will Anderson. And yet, the season of accomplishments ended without a national championship. This is fuel for Will Anderson. The team you fall to was the team in your home state, Will Anderson's from Georgia, that did not prioritize you in recruiting. That's the team that won the national championship over you. This is fuel for Will Anderson. All season long in 2021, what did he talk about? I'm trying to win a natty. I want to win this natty. I'm about this natty. My focus is the natty. Just get me to the natty. That was Will Anderson all last season. And his push, despite all the accomplishments, came short of a national championship. This is fuel for Anderson. And he mentioned at the beginning of last season about how, and he was emotional about this, football's got to be the most important thing. Football's got to be the main thing. Football's got to be the main focus. Football has to be the main drive. And at the beginning, it was not. You know, the chemistry wasn't there. The communication wasn't there. The continuity wasn't there. Guys were not gelling, were not vibing with each other. And the connection did not start happening until after the Texas A&M game. That's when things started to get better here for Alabama football. And you wonder if that connection would have been there from start to finish, this team would have won all the way to the national. This team would have won the national championship going all the way there. But the good thing about having a fueled up Will Anderson is the effort he is putting in off-season workouts right now. Dr. Matt Ray, Alabama's Director of Performance Science, he put this up on Twitter yesterday where he mentioned, Will Anderson's doing things in the off-season workouts that are incredibly difficult, but he's making them look easy. These are incredibly hard things, but he's making them look routine. These are things that not the average athlete can do. But Will Anderson, not the average athlete. He's a freak show, and he's doing this with utmost regularity and ease. This is fuel for Will Anderson entering this spring and the upcoming football season. He is going to bring so much terror to opposing quarterbacks. And the reason why he's going to bring that terror is because not only is he trying to win a national championship, but Anderson also knows, hey, a big season, I can be the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 draft. At worst, the number 2 overall pick behind Bryce Young, but more than likely, he's coming after that number 1 spot in terms of being a draft pick. Now, to me, he has a chance to have sort of that Dante Hightower type of leadership this season. Now, am I saying that he's going to be jumping on top of tables like Dante Hightower? I don't think he's going to be jumping on top of tables. I don't think it's going to call for that. But I do see the Hightower leadership where if something goes wrong, he's snatching people in line quick. I do see that. If there's somebody that's got an attitude problem or somebody not buying in, Mr. Anderson snatching them in quick and like, hey, get right. Like he's doing that fast and he's doing that quick. I can see that happening. Now, the good thing is he may not have to do a lot of that just because when you have Jordan Battle coming back, you have DeMarco Helms back, you have Henry To'o back, you got Byron Young back, and DJ Dale back. You got 9 of 11 starters back on your defense. All of those guys saw how last season ended. So it's not going to take much to get those guys in line because everybody was on the field when the confetti came down, and it was not crimson and white. Everybody saw the confetti come down. It was black and red. It was red and black in favor of Georgia there. So it's not going to take much to make sure every last one of these guys stays in line because it's when you lose in a national championship game, you become way more sensitive to what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? How could I have improved? What were things I could have done to strengthen my chances or better my chances? What did the coaches say that I did not pay enough attention to? Or what did the team leaders say that I did not pay enough attention to? So I feel like this spring, all of the things that Will Anderson's going to say and how he's going to demonstrate on the field and leading by words and by example, the players are going to take all of that in. So seeing what he's doing right now in the offseason workout program ahead of spring ball, Anderson is fueled up to make sure not only does this team get the national championship, but he's putting himself in position to grab everything he can grab in this upcoming season and wheeling this team from point A to point B. But as always, Bama Nation, you want the best in news, notes, material on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. We got you covered here. We got you covered here on the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. Folks, as always, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition, print edition of TDA, the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member, a subscriber today. That link in the description. And if you're trying to get your hands on the 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That's WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That link in the description too. But until next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, we have made it to the weekend, but you still do the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored. You pick you up those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.